For those of you wondering what Mr. Jones has been up to for the last 2 chapters after he was run out of his own farm, Chapter 4 answers that question. It turns out that he's pretty much been sitting at a bar complaining to anyone who will listen about how awful his life is and how sinister those good-for-nothing animals are. And Jones does have it pretty bad. I mean, his own animals rebelled against him and kicked him off his own farm. Unfortunately, Jones doesn't get much sympathy from other farmers, at least not at first. Something that should catch your attention at the beginning of Chapter 4, though, is that the successes on Animal Farm are not being kept on Animal Farm. The animals are working to actively spread their ideals of animalism to other farms, encouraging other animals to rise up against their human masters, just like they did. Snowball and Napoleon send out flights of pigeons to teach neighboring farms the concepts of animalism and the song Beasts of England. These messages, it turns out, are pretty successful, and eventually a wave of rebelliousness ran through the countryside, and the song Beasts of England is being sung far and wide. So this is enough to catch other farmers' attention and listen to Mr. Jones a little more closely. The other farmers are, of course, worried now that what happened on Jones's farm might not be so far off from happening on their own as well. This leads some local farmers, named Pilkington and Frederick, to band together with Jones and lead an assault to take back Jones's farm. Fortunately, the animals were ready for them. You can imagine if your pet rose up against you and kicked you out of your own house, you'd be back pretty quick to take possession of what's yours, right? Well, the animals knew that Jones would be back to take possession of the farm. Now, the details of the battle are interesting, since the animals did get a pretty quick victory, but it's important to pay attention to these details since, hint hint, some of these events are going to be called into question in future chapters. So anyway, about a dozen humans come charging through the main gate. Snowball sends pigeons and geese against the humans to cause a little confusion, then donkeys and sheep to cause a little more disorganization. Then Snowball does the old fake retreat and leads the men right where he wants them, just so the biggest animals, the horses and the pigs, can trap them. Once these animals sneak behind the humans, they charge, with Snowball at the head of the pack. Snowball is grazed by a bullet, and a sheep is shot and killed. But other than that, the battle is over pretty quickly once these large animals thoroughly bite, kick, chase, and thump the humans. And so within 5 minutes of their invasion, they were in ignominious retreat by the same way they had come, with a flock of geese hissing after them and picking at their calves all the way. The animals celebrate the victory, with Boxer briefly lamenting the fact that he killed a guy, which it turned out the man was just knocked unconscious, and the animals recognizing that Molly had mysteriously vanished during the battle, only to be found hiding in her stable. The animals celebrate by singing Beasts of England several times, they raise their animal farm flag, they give out awards for valor, and they name the event the Battle of the Cowshed. This brief chapter focuses on the actual battle, but it's just as important to recognize the significance of what has taken place surrounding the battle. The animals have shown their ability to take care of the farm and organize themselves enough for its defense, and now Jones is kicked out for good. Plus, following the battle, they began to establish traditions, like the military awards, the flag, the singing, the firing of the gun, that are adding to their unique identity as Animal Farm. Of course, as we all know, once there's a shortage of external enemies, many of the enemies that threaten the project of Animal Farm may just begin to show up from within.